On today's agenda, I want to show you how we can go from this to this. Hey friend, welcome to my channel. If you're new here, hi, I'm Jay and I'm a mixed media artist. I was looking through my gallery from this year and I realized that all I've been making are keycaps. Before artisan keycaps were even a thing, I used to create these miniature sculptures of different animals that I liked at the time in order to prevent myself from going down the path of burnout with the keycaps. I want to take some time to diversify and design a new critter to add to my collection. So with that, let's get started. Good morning. So as you can see, I just got out of the shower, so my hair is still pretty wet, but we're gonna start off the day with some matcha, and then we're going to, I guess, spend some time ideating, which is basically gonna be me sketching out what I'm gonna sculpt. Just to preface, I actually didn't really like snakes that much. I pretty much grew up in a fairly traditional Asian household where everything snake was considered bad. And that goes from just snakes being an evil creature to their bad omen, essentially. Like if you see them, that's considered bad. And people who were called snakes are inherently evil, and I think that applies to the Western culture as well. So throughout my childhood and even into adulthood, I pretty much feared the snake. But then last week, I was just doing my usual doom scrolling and I saw this most precious ball python that fits into like the palm of my hand. And I feel that the idea of a snake has been so misunderstood for centuries now. Like we have successfully marketed the snake to be this evil creature. This brings me to the concept of our sculpture. As I was starting on the sketch, I remember that this year's zodiac sign was the snake. To honor and celebrate the year of the snake halfway into 2025, I wanted to incorporate my favorite comfort food into the sculpture to shift the imagery of the cunning reptile into a totally inviting critter. When I think of comfort, one of the first things I think of is soup. Since this little guy looks like a thick round strand of noodle, it didn't take long for me to envision an udon bowl. A lovely harmony of heartwarming broth and fresh ingredients, and of course adding a special udon noodle on top of the bowl would be so cute. I underestimated how long it would take me to sketch up this idea, so by the time I was done, it was already time for me to get ready for dinner. So I trimmed off the sides of the paper, and now we have our sketch. Next up, we're gonna start sculpting. Welcome to our second day, which is going to be our first sculpting day. And in order to get started with this design, we're going to make our bowl first. For the bowl, I found the speckled effect polymer clay, which gave me the idea of creating a stone bowl. Because the clay was a bit dry, I used the little clay softener mixed in to make things easier for sculpting. The stone texture helps spotlight the timeless elegance of the animal. It will also give a rustic and organic look to tie together the idea of a comforting meal. The bowl as the foundation was pretty hard to make. I thought the shape would be as simple as a half circle, but I couldn't achieve the consistent thickness trying to push the clay into the mold. To be even and consistent, I needed to create the dome out of the silicone mix first. Then I covered it with clay and then trimmed the excess to get the correct bowl height. Silicones have different melting points, and the one I used happened to be safe for the temperature I usually set to bake my clay pieces. As you can see, I baked several pieces to ensure at least one of them would make it, and you'll see why in a second. Demolding the bowl is pretty tricky. I had to start prying the dome out while it's still warm and the clay is still flexible. Once it cools down, it may get too hard and crack. For the base, I thinned out some smaller strands of udon noodles to make a nest for our snake. As I prepare the ingredients for the udon, I want to talk more about the significance of the piece's theme. Now, I don't believe in the zodiacs too much, but I do like a bit of good fortune, so I began reading into the year of the snake. Just as the snake sheds its skin to grow and maintain itself, I feel like I've also had to leave behind certain blocks in order to focus on many creative projects. Sometimes things just never go in the order you think that it will, and the result seems all out of place when you compare it to the initial plan. But being able to use the needle tool to craft small green onions and bring life to a doodle on paper, it always reminds me of the joy in sculpting. Naruto, or narutomaki, is a type of Japanese fish cake that serves as a signature decor topping, so I couldn't forget to include it. I used a knife to indent the cloudy shape and paint it on the iconic pink swirl. Soft boiled eggs are a popular topping for udon. I made mine by poking a hole in a tiny ball of white clay and filling it with a yellow yolk. I got started working on the shiitake mushrooms. Because the pieces were so tiny, it was kinda hard to hold it in place. I managed to dust it with a few shades of brown chalk pastels to replicate the color of the real ones. Dried seaweed strips are typically used as a garnish. To make the seaweed, I texturized a thin piece of clay using a hard brittle brush. Then I sliced them into smaller rectangles and layered them on top of one another for dimension. The snake sculpture has been a great reminder to take time and reflect on my year, and the more I work on it, the more it allows me to empathize with the animal and realize just how much unfortunate anecdotes and cultural perspectives have plagued the image of the snake. I was surprised to learn that even some vendors during New Year's celebrations were hesitant to advertise the snake as much as the other popular zodiac animals like dragons or tigers. Sometimes snakes are just scary. The snake is a less desirable year. To contrast such worries, I paid close attention to sculpting the details of the ingredients for an undeniably good meal,
After arranging the Naruto, egg, and seaweed into their places, I finally get to the star of the show. I especially admired the snake's flexibility, so I decided to place her in a cute coil and show off that amazing quality while fitting seamlessly on top of the udon bowl. I gave her some blush and dolled her up with an iridescent coat with mica powder. This gives her the glam that she needs by adding a bit of contrast to the organic elements surrounding her. For a cherry on top, I gave her a tiny Naruto hat as an accessory. To bring her to life, I painted the final details. I made sure to preserve the initial expression of the adorable ball python reference that started this entire piece. For the broth, I mixed the light caramel color with UV resin and gave it a quick stir. I have to individually place each droplet onto the areas that I want to be tinted with broth because I didn't want to get the colors on the snake. Lastly, I coated her with resin and voila, she's all ready to be served. Thank you for sculpting with me. Let me know what your favorite zodiac animal is and what you like about them in the comments below. If you enjoy mini sculptures like this, make sure to like the video and subscribe for more.